I once knew a guy with one leg named Larry. My wife wanted to know what the other leg was named.
Why don't football players wear glasses?
I don't know.
It's a contact sport.
Once again, makes sense. How do you make holy water? You boil the hell out of it.
My name is Kathy Bailey. I am the mayor of this wonderful city of Loveland, and we have the privilege of having lived here 30 years. There are a lot of things about Loveland that are special, but I think what really at its core, what makes it special is the people that call this city home.
Kathy, just want to thank you so much for being here, or I maybe treat you with a little more respect, Mayor Bailey, but we'll go with Kathy. I just want to thank you for being here. I know you are exceptionally busy, so appreciate you taking the time to come in and share with us about things going on about Loveland, number one, number two, things maybe going on and things like that. So thanks so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
So let's start off. So how long have you been in Loveland? Why Loveland? Those kinds of things.
My husband and I and our then one-year-old son, who you may know, we moved to Loveland in 1995. Been here ever since. Now have a few other children to add to the mix. But we picked Loveland because it was close to both of our parents. So we had built-in babysitters nearby. Didn't really know a thing about Loveland. Kind of fell into this by accident. Happened to see a house that a realtor showed us on a beautiful Friday night in July that was just gorgeous. All these kids in the whole neighborhood. Thought, if it's not this house, then somewhere in Loveland is where we need to be. So that's how we ended up in Loveland, and we really feel like we fell into something wonderful.
Yeah, good. One of the goals of this show is just talk about, the great things that are going on, the land of love, right? What is it maybe you like best about Loveland, and anything you just feel like sharing about Loveland that you think is important for people to know about?
I think what I like is the people. I like coming downtown, and it feels like you're in a backyard barbecue when you're down here. You run into people you know always, because Loveland itself is a small city, but the greater Loveland community where most people claim they're from Loveland, even if they're not. But the school district, I think, is a little larger, and all the people that you see are always so happy to be walking around downtown Loveland with all the restaurants and the bars and the park and the river. It's just the bike trail, obviously. I don't know, you come down here and you're just in a good mood, and people are happy to be seen and be really sometimes do nothing, just walk around and talk to people down here. And it's just, that's what I love about it. It's friendly. I hear so many people in communities that really don't have a sense of community, and I don't think you can help but have a sense of community in Loveland.
So you've been mayor for how long?
Since 2017, so it'll be 8 years.
Yeah, wow.
Been on council since 2015.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been that long. So I'll hit you with the why. Why are you mayor?
It's a good question. I was kind of talked into running for council. It's not something I ever considered or thought about 10 years ago. And once I got on council, really started to get more involved in the city and what was happening in the city. It just sort of happened the way the elections happened, that it was the right time for me to step in as mayor. Probably a little sooner than I would have thought, but it turned out okay. But why do I keep doing it, I guess, is the bigger question. And I like being in the middle of what is happening in Loveland, being part of the decision making, being part of directing the future and determining what we're going to look like in 10, 15, 20, 30 years. I like playing that role and being central to that. And I'm proud of our community and happy to be part of keeping it moving forward in a responsible way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. I think, in my opinion, it's probably a little bit of a thankless job, as many of those kinds of positions are. So definitely have a big appreciation for what you're doing and what you're trying to accomplish and what you have accomplished, honestly. So anything coming down the pike that that you want to share? Is there anything up and coming? Is there something maybe council or is working on, or something like, hey, if this happens 10 years from now, I'll be happy? there anything like that?
We've had a huge push, which people may have noticed with all the construction going on. Every year it's, for me, what are we doing this year? What capital improvements are we doing? I just think we need to keep always moving forward. That doesn't mean see how much we can build and see how many businesses we can, over put on properties. That means just taking care of our infrastructure. Some of the things that have been kicked down the road for literally decades that this council has now dealt with, and you'll see the results of it in the next, hopefully, 2 to 5 years. One is Riverside Drive, that you're familiar with. Sure. Every year we're putting $30,000 to $40,000 because it keeps sinking.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's falling into the river. On the riverside, obviously, you can see how the poles, the way they turn. And there is a sewer pipe that runs under that brings everything from this side of the river there. So if that road fails, that's a problem.
Yes. And
I heard about that when I first was on council. When I was first made mayor, somebody said, what are you going to do about Riverside Drive? I'm like, well, what's wrong with Riverside Drive? So when they told me, we immediately got with our senator, had him come down and look at it. He had said, you really need to hook up with the Army Corps of Engineers. That was in spring of 2018. And we are now 7 years later. They're actually going to fix Riverside Drive next summer, or next year, 2026, maybe 27. It always gets backed up. But it's not a sexy project, but it needs to be done, and it hadn't been done. And the other one is I think on Chestnut, which is off of Loveland, Madeira. That's a 8-acre site that was a brownfield site, EPA brownfield, that was told, we've owned it, I guess, the city since 1970s, that nobody'd ever done anything with. We invested over $1 million. We had over $3 million from the EPA, and it is now clean. We've got a plan, hopefully, to bring some fill in, because it's a big hole. It was a dump. It's all that's been taken out. And the plan is, that's why we bought that property that we tore down. That's why we bought the Denise Mere that's about to be torn down on Loveland, Madeira. That'll be the entrance into this, hopefully, 8-acre site that's going to be developed into some sort of business that brings us income tax. There's also a huge $13 million 3-phase plan to completely redo Loveland, Madeira Road.
Okay, good.
At that site will be, at that location where that Tiger Express will be a roundabout. Take all utilities and bury them, put in like a 10-foot shared bike, pedestrian lane, all new lighting, just make that a beautiful boulevard and try to kind of bring the success from downtown up to Loveland, Madeira.
Take it around the corner.
Right, that's the plan for that. We did a master plan for our Nisbet Park. We did find out that we were awarded the last $500,000 we needed to tear down that amphitheater and turn it so it faces out, so we can actually have bigger concerts. A plan to, I think anybody down here has seen, we've been incrementally do new things in that park. We're about to put out for bid to get swings like you see at Smale Park.
Sure.
We have enough money to do the one. We're looking for donations for the second. Hopefully a brand new playground there. So Nisbet Park is going to be completely redone.
Yeah.
One project that's not good for people is that Metropolitan Sewer District is coming through downtown Loveland, if not in 26, 27, and that's going to be...
That'll go over great.
Oh, I know. They're coming through one way or another. But that's another thing we did was a streetscape plan for all of downtown, which would make all the sidewalks match what's in front of Tano and Ramsey's and Bishop's Quarter. And also other things, plant trees and new lighting and really make it gorgeous. And we put in for a grant for that. And we're hopeful to get that because at the same time they come through the Metropolitan Sewer District, we might as well do ours too.
Right.
Because we'll take out all the water mains because those are the oldest water mains in the city.
And someone was saying, I mean, that's a multi-billion-dollar deal for Metropolitan Sewer.
Them.
For a Metropolitan Sewer District,
Right.
not for Loveland, but for the sewer district.
Oh, it's
I mean,
huge.
it's a big number.
It is.
Yeah. But I think you toe a tough line. We want the industry, we want the business, we want the commercial things coming in, right? We want the housing and things like that. We want to see I'll say most people want to see some progress. But you also have a hard line where you want to bring that in, but you also want to keep that small town, river town, train town, whatever you want to
Right.
call it, that same, you want to keep that feel. So I do sympathize with you and the city leaders that, you know, it's not the easiest thing to do, right?
Well,
So-
we're accused often of, anytime a developer brings a plan, it hasn't even gone in front of everybody yet, anybody, any commission. And all the comments on social media are always, follow the money, they're making money off this. It's like, okay, well, first of all, we haven't approved anything yet. And that's why we have a historic preservation. We created that, this council down here, because we're trying to keep that feel. And we want to have controls on that. So I think as a city, you have to constantly be moving forward, but it has to be responsible and planned. Nobody's looking to put 5, 6, 7-story buildings down here or do anything that's going to ruin the charm. But you can't drop the gates either and not have anything new ever coming in here, which there are people that want that.
I get it.
There has to be, like everything, has to be a balance.
And that's I'll call that some of the sexy stuff. But then when you start talking about water mains and sewage and things like that, I mean, that's your infrastructure that it has to be taken
Right.
care of. And it's not sexy and it might not be right there in front of your face, but yet it's still got to be done.
But
so
it's responsible.
it's responsible.
And
Well,
I think we've done a good job of addressing the big issues.
so yeah, you have all of that. You hang out in downtown Loveland. You hang out in a lot of places in Loveland. You got some favorite things to do in Loveland?
I'm allowed to plug a business.
Yeah, it's our show.
Obviously, I like Hobbs and Berry. My daughter's the manager there.
There you go. Yeah.
So certainly like that. All of them really. Every restaurant and every bar has its something about it that I really enjoy. I know we go to Rosé around the corner. A lot of people don't know about it, but they have wine nights, wine tastings on Wednesdays, like once a month. That's a great little place. I'm hoping when development kind of starts going that way, which it will, we'll be selling that fire station eventually and property across the street. I think that'll only help those businesses up there. But there's not a business or restaurant down here that I don't enjoy going to and that we don't go to. We go to all of them. There's something about all of them that we like.
Yeah.
I think it's just that's what's kind of cool down here.
Yeah, they all have their own ambiance,
They
right?
really do.
Yeah, they do, and you're right. It's you can mix it up. You know, we were talking earlier. We did another show and talking about come down and have dinner and then go to the Loveland Stage Company and enjoy
Absolutely.
a show, and then after the show, go out and entertain yourself afterwards and
Right.
things like that.
Just go find a place
it
for
has
a
a lot
drink.
to offer, and you're not the poo-poo downtown Cincinnati at all, but
We're safe down here.
We're yeah, I would hope so.
We're safe.
yeah,
It was
it's
great
just-
on, I think Saturday night we were down here, Bob and I, and ate at one of the restaurants. And when I looked up at Bishop's Quarter, all 3 floors outside were full. All the rooftops were full. Every restaurant was packed. It was just, there wasn't anybody that wasn't doing well on Saturday night. I love that, on a pretty night. And actually, I think it had been like that most of the day. So I'm glad people are down here enjoying it.
Yeah, and they definitely are. So that's good. So I'm gonna just open it wide open here. Is there anything else you want to share? Anything else you think is important for people to know? I mean, I'll say again. I think Loveland City, Loveland area just has a great thing going on. We really do. Okay.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and again, it is. Don't get a big head on me here, but
I'll try.
You've done some great things. You and your team and the council have done some great.
I have a great city manager.
In one man's opinion, David Kennedy is a rock star.
Yes,
okay,
he is.
and he's the master of the grant writing, right?
He gets us lots of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, that's something to mention. Is like a lot of things that are getting done are being done with grant
Right.
dollars,
Oh, yeah.
right?
And we
So,
have to thank our state legislators that have really helped us. We have Senator Johnson in Claremont and Jean Schmidt. She's done a lot to get us money for this area, and so has the senator. And that's every penny helps.
Yeah, no doubt. So, anything else? You feel moved to talk about?
I'm trying to think what else is coming in the city. Those are the main big things. This is kind of a year of construction projects.
Yeah, right.
But and keeping our fingers crossed on another couple grants that are huge for us.
Okay.
Because that would be a lost opportunity not to be able to do West Loveland when MSD
Yeah.
comes through.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
It'll do my heart good if you go up there and turn the corner and start doing things up
Yep.
up level. Take and
That's
one
the
man's
plan.
one man's opinion, but if
That's
you
the
want to take
plan.
it all the way to 275, knock yourself out.
Well, and we've got down here is where people want to get to, and if we have a bike lane, so we are studying what do we do with West Loveland, because, and this is very controversial, but when we did the downtown plan, one of the plan, either that or the full city plan, the thought was that those 4 lanes that go from the bridge to Loveland Madeira, what's the point? Because it's 4 lanes fuddling into 2, and then quick 4 lanes and funnels back into 2. That doesn't accomplish anything. So that's one of the thoughts is, do you do they're looking at a few different things. Do we bring that bike lane around the corner and have a dedicated bike lane that brings you into downtown, and then have 1 lane each way and then a middle turn lane going West Loveland? People are very not sure about that.
Yeah.
They call it a road diet, which I think is the problem.
Is that a road diet?
Don't call it that.
Okay.
But I mean, it makes sense. What's the point in pedal to the metal and then slow down and then it opens up again? It's just silly. So I don't know. Well, there's some money out there to just put in like temporary and try it. It's a thought. Maybe a roundabout at Riverside would be good. As I sat, it's one reason I was a little tardy. I was sat there waiting for somebody to turn left onto West Loveland, which is impossible.
It's funny, the roundabouts, when people figure them out, guess what? They work really well.
They move traffic well.
Yeah, that's good.
So I don't know, and that's sort of out there as a possibility. But I think it would work. I think that whole making that all, like I said, with a bike lane. How else are you going to get all those people? That's the whole thought: is less cars down here and more bikes.
There you go.
So
How about golf carts?
no.
Never mind, that wasn't a question.
That's a sore subject. That's not happening.
Gotcha.
We looked at it. We did. We looked at it from every angle. It doesn't work for this city.
I understand. Yeah,
Because
that's perfect.
by statutory definition, they can only go 25 miles per hour. So we don't want them cruising along on any of these areas that are 35, and that's just going to make people very angry.
Right. I get
So
it. Yeah.
we're not that kind of a city.
Pick your battles.
Right.
So, well, I'll say it one more time. I really have an appreciation, personally, for what you're trying to accomplish, and I know, again, it's a thankless job. I mean, generally, most things you try, you've got people who are in your camp, and you got people who are not in your camp. Yet I believe you're trying to do what you think is best for Loveland. So I do believe that's what's in your heart. So. Typically, I'll back it as long as I know your heart's in the right place.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
there
we
you
don't
go.
bat 1,000, but if you don't like something we're doing, it's not for the wrong reasons. And usually we've thought it through pretty well. There's always this another thought, but we don't just go out and willy-nilly do things. We try to put a lot of thought into it and do it, because you're making decisions that are going to last for decades or longer, and we want to try to make the right ones.
That's great. Again, thank you so much for what you do. I appreciate you being here, because that was enlightening. I know there's some stuff coming down the road, and literally and figuratively.
Yep.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot is sidewalks all going up Warren County.
Oh, is that
We're
right?
going to connect all those neighborhoods. We have the money for it.
Yeah.
We did get grants for that, so those people are very happy.
Yeah, especially if you can walk down
Right.
here, right?
Because that's dangerous. People
Yeah.
they're saying they can't do it now. So that's been a huge push of this council in the last 2 years. Was a plan to try to get as much connectivity as we can, and we're doing phase 3 of the project going out into Claremont. So all of Claremont County now is going to be connected. And the other big one, and we're waiting on this grant, is a grant to take sidewalks past St. Columban to the 200 acres of parkland that go right past White Pillars.
Right.
So we're hopeful for that. We'll hear about that probably 1st of June.
Oh, that'd be great. I mean, I don't want to walk on that street. So.
Not without a sidewalk.
Definitely not. So yeah, good.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you. Thanks so much for being here. Like
My
I said, I
pleasure.
know you're busy, but I mean, you guys clearly have a lot going on, so that's good, and so I appreciate that. And we might just keep you coming back every once in a while, just to give us an update, right? So we'll hold your feet
Okay.
over the fire a little
That
bit,
works.
just to see how it's going. But
Hopefully we'll keep having updates of more and more projects, getting things squared away.
Sounds good. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
All right.
There's a lot of passion with the people that live here, a lot of opinions, which is a good thing because that's how we get the good results that we get, is by listening to our people that truly have a lot of great ideas and care so much about this city. And it's one of my favorite things is to come downtown and go to the restaurants and hang out down here and run into the people who really love to share what ideas they have.
So Kathy, this is also a finance
It
show.
is?
Yeah,
Okay.
surprise, surprise. So I do believe that you might have a finance question for Mr. Jarvis to take a crack at.
I do. So my question has to do with, I recently retired from the county, although I've got a few years until I would get to Social Security age. But all my oldie friends that I talk to at work all talk about that they're having to take money out of their IRA, and when they have to do that and how much they have to do that. So my question is, such as that, what are other things? Is that true? And if so, how much and when? And if so, what other things should I be thinking about as I get older that I need to be concerned about?
Yeah, so required minimum distribution for now is 73 years old is when you have to start pulling 4% per year. Soon that will be 75 years old.
I have loads of time.
Plenty of time. Yes, we do.
I would say a huge part that you need to look out for is like tax implications. So if your required minimum distribution is too high, it could cause your Social Security benefits to be lowered and taxed at a higher rate.
I think Austin makes a good point. Like what he's trying to say is there is a such thing as having too much money in your retirement plan, depending on what your retirement plan looks like. And as he pointed out, like let's say 73, at that point your life expectancy is basically 27 years. So you take out, like he said, like 1/27th, 1/25th of your portfolio, right? But the problem is if that, if you have a really large 401k or IRA or something like that, it can mess with your Social Security. It can mess with, but it can also, what we want to try to avoid is getting you bumped up into a higher tax bracket because you get taken out so much money, and that is a thing. It really is. So, and there are strategies for that. So, let's say we take a portion of the funds or some of the funds and we do a Roth conversion. So, number one, you're taking less money out of a traditional IRA, but at the same time, you can take money out of a Roth also, and you don't have to worry about the tax implications because you already paid the taxes. The whole Social Security thing, I mean, there's a lot to it. There's 4 or 5 different things you have to look at when you start taking that into account, and when do I want to take it, and things like that. So,
And these are things that as I get older, I talk to my professionals about, and we develop a strategy for how to deal with all of that.
100%.
Correct.
That's exactly what they should be doing for you. It's a good question, though. It's a real good question because there's a lot of people heading in that direction.
Yes.
Right? So it's definitely something to consider. So I'll say one more time, I just again want to thank you for being here, and appreciate your insights, appreciate your hard work, and maybe we'll see you around downtown Loveland sometime. How's that sound?
I bet you will.
Yeah, probably will. All right. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you.